I'm going to be going over your basic glassware now, so you guys have a knowledge of what liquors and what type of alcohol goes in what glassware. First, I'm going to go over your highball. Your highball is your most common glassware you will be using. It's used for your vodka cranberries, your rum and cokes, your basic single liquors. I would say about 75% of your drinks will be going in your highball. It's usually shorter, fatter, and can encompass one liquor and one juice or soda. So it's very common. Next, you have your tall glass or your double tall, sometimes called a tumbler as well. This glassware is used for your tropical drinks, your double talls, your double vodka cranberries, your double rum and cokes. It encompasses a lot of liquors, is more space to work with. Next is what you call your Collins glass, also more recently called a zombie glass, but originally called a Collins glass. Your most popular drink in here is going to be a Tom Collins, which is just gin, sour, mixed, and soda. Very, very cool looking glass. It's tall, cylindrical, looks pretty. Some restaurants will use it for tropical drinks just because the shape is cool. But standard, your most common drink is a Tom Collins that has to be made in here. Next to that is your martini glass. This glass is used obviously for martinis, flavored martinis, and Manhattans and Rob Roys that are served straight up. Next, we're going to go over some very specifically shaped glasses. They're funny, and these are made for a purpose in the way they're shaped. First, I will go over the brandy snifter or the cognac snifter. Not sifter, but sniffing, like you sniff something, a snifter. Not a lot of people know this, but there's only 4 things you can actually taste as a human being, and that's sweet, sour, bitter, and salt. So those are the only 4 things you can actually taste. Everything else, your brain is fooling you. You're actually smelling it. And a sommelier or an expert of alcohol is going to want to analyze liquid, the liquid inside the glass, for very expensive types of liquor. And this is what the snifter is for. Ice should never go in this. Ice dilutes the liquor. It calls it bruising the liquor, the alcohol. It's watering it down. It's ruining the taste characteristics of the liquor. So ice should never go in here, because what goes in here is your very, very expensive scotches, gins, rums, vodkas, and it is meant to be held like so, the palm of your hand. If you don't realize it, your palm, your hand actually gives off a lot of heat. It gives off a lot of heat. So when you hold the glass like this, you're heating up the liquid inside, which causes an aroma. It is easier to analyze the liquid inside of this cup when it's heated, because the aroma is going up. It's short, so your nose can get right in there if you want to smell it. It's funneled, so you're not losing any of the scent outside. If your nose is right in there, it's getting directed right to your nose. I call it an analyzing tool. Customer will hold it like this, and they can really analyze. When you see them swirling it around too, and you'll see customers doing that, it's not because they're weird or they're funny. They're trying to heat it up. They're trying to create some kinetic motion there, some kinetic heat, and heat up the liquid so they can analyze it. So that is the brandy snifter. It's short, it's fat, it's funny looking, but it is meant to be like that for a reason, so they can analyze the liquor inside. Next, I'm going to go your wine glasses. Okay, these are very important to know. This is your white wine, and this is your red wine glass. They should never ever be held by the bulb. Never ever. Not like the snifter. These held by the stem. You hold these by the stem, and it's for a reason. Wine is served at appropriate temperatures. You do not want to heat them up at all or chill them down more than they should be served. Your white wines, I'll go over first, should be served anywhere from 45 to 55 degrees. I don't expect you to put a thermometer in it, but I do expect you to have it chilled. A customer will be insulted if you serve white wine to them warm. You must have it at least in a refrigerator or a cooler and serving it chilled. And you can tell a white wine glass from a red wine glass because the stem is always thicker. If you look at the two, it is much thicker in the white wine. And this is because they're taking extra precautions so you don't heat up the wine. So you're going to grab it by the stem. It's thicker, the bulb right here is thicker, just extra precautions so you don't warm up the chilled liquid. It is shorter because white wine is harder to get an aroma from because it's chilled. So it's shorter so you can get your nose in there up closer to the liquid. Red wine is somewhat different. It has a thinner stand. It's served at 55 to 65 degrees, just below room temperature. So if you heat it up a little bit, no big deal. That's why the stand is a little bit thinner, but it's still meant to be held like this. You're not trying to change the temperature of the alcohol inside. It is served at appropriate temperature so you to really get to analyze what's going on inside the cup. It's taller, it's warmer, so you can pick up the scents a lot easier from the glassware, from the wine. Also, you'll see people swirling the glasses around, putting it up to the light in red wine. They're looking for the clarity of the wine. They're not being funny. Don't look at them weird. If they put it up to the light and they're swirling it like this, like so, they're just trying to see the clarity of the red wine. One more thing about wines before I finish this section is that a manager will get very upset if you don't pour it in the appropriate portion. You're supposed to stop pouring where the bulb starts coming in. So when it starts to concave in, that's where you stop pouring. So on a red wine, it looks a little less, but it's appropriate to be about right here. When the concave starts going in, that's where you stop. It's about 3 ounces. On the white wine, it's about right here. You start coming in right here. It looks like a little more in the white glass, but it's just fooling to the eye. It's the same amount, about 3 ounces. Just the glassware is shaped differently. And that is our glassware section.